Well, if this doesn't scream Halloween, I don't know what screams Halloween anymore. But ladies and gentlemen, we are back! Technoid live episodes are back in the house. We got the Halloween setup all good. Want to give a huge shout out to my girlfriend. We did this all ourselves. Want to thank everybody that is watching live as we speak. We are multicasting on sneedmobiletech. Thank you for watching. Thank you all for being a part of tonight's show. We don't have a lot of time. We're going to skip this intro, go right to it. But it is great to be back. Halloween time is here. We're going live more and more. So don't touch that dial, ladies and gentlemen. Do not do anything. Change your underwear if you have to. I don't know if you need to. But guess what? Technoid starts right now. Alrighty, what is going on, everybody? Michael here. Welcome back to a return of the live episodes of Technoid. Guys, it has been way too long, and yes, I agree with this comment. I forgot that this dude, yes, I would forget myself. It has been way too long. Guys, I am back. It's been a long hiatus. It has been a forever, and I owe you guys an explanation, but I'm not doing this alone. My biggest co-host, my biggest supporter, my brother since day one. We're going on 5 years of friendship. Sneedmobiletech. Welcome back, brother. Welcome
hey, man, it's good to be here. It's been a long time, man.
I feel like I'm going to need to sit down for this one to give you guys a quick backstory. I don't normally like this, but
Grab
anyway,
a seat.
guys.
Got a story to tell.
All right, so listen, guys. Why have I been gone for so long? Well, look, guys. If you want the honest truth, life happened. Got a new job. Priorities had to change. Money had to be made. Bills had to be changed. But with that being said, a lot of cutbacks had to happen. My content had to kind of dwindle down to make sacrifices, and that's just a part of getting older, is you have to make some cutbacks in order to be able to maintain. But now that I've found my edging, now that everything has kind of balanced out, and now that I've gotten my passion back for creating content, which is something that was lost for a while, it is back. And this is the biggest example of it. We're doing the Halloween theme. We got the Halloween lights set up. My girlfriend and I spent over 2 hours doing this, so shout out to her. This was all her. She did this whole thing. So shout out to her. But guys,
Shout out.
it is great to be back. I miss sitting in front of a camera, interacting with viewers live, and talking with you guys, getting your opinions. This is what I missed, and it's good to be back, and I promise, and I don't care if it's once a month, I don't care if it's twice a month, I am promising you all, I am making a dedicated commitment to going live again, whether it's with Sneed or myself or other guests. I promise you guys, Technoid live episodes are back, and tonight is all about a free talk. I'm going to skip the sponsors. I'm going to skip all of that. If you want to see who is a part of this channel, head over into the link in the description. You could use all the affiliates if you see anything. I just want to get right into it because I miss this stuff. I miss being with Sneed. And dude, it's been forever. So let's hear it. What's been going on with you?
Well, in regards to the channel, tons of content is being made. A lot is happening within, phone releases. Got the new iPhones. You got, Apple AI on deck. That should be a thing very, very soon. Not just devices, but there's a lot of stuff going on with like direct to device or like non-terrestrial networks. So like space with satellite connecting the phones, right? So there's a lot of stuff happening. So while you've been on the sidelines, shit's been going down, son.
Listen, I've been on the
But I
sideline,
have,
and
but
let's
you
be
have
real.
had some content. You know, some of the audio reviews, some of the gear that you've reviewed. So we've caught those things too.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is true. That is true. And to be honest with you guys, that's kind of where I've been spending most of my time. My main tech show had kind of taken a back seat, but I have some good news. Next week, we are back to full episodes of Technoid, so
Oh,
we will
cool,
be
man.
filling you guys back in, and it's the Halloween theme. So anyway, guys, let's start this show up. Let's get it going. And anyway, it's good to see all of you in the live chat. And if you are watching me for the first time and you don't know who I am, let me give you a quick breakdown of who exactly I am. I am Technoid. You probably heard my name in the past. You probably remember me. You probably don't. I'm a huge tech fan when it comes to the tech world. I talk about the rumors, the leaks, everything. And I also cover audio products, as Sam has told you. I also cover a lot when it comes to Tesla accessories, when it comes to audio, when it comes to TV, everything you could think of. I am kind of slowly becoming a reviewer now full time, but I still need to make time for my channel, to make time for my viewers, and this is my way of giving back to you guys. So with that being said, let's get into it. So let's start with the first thing. This show is not going to have any particular topic. It's just going to talk tech. And of course, being that we are going to talk about the tech world in its entirety, the first one I want to start with is Soundcore, because we have a new release. So I'm going to try to fix this so you guys can see better. All right, there we go. All right. So guys, if you haven't seen, there is a new release, the Soundcore Liberty 4 Pro. Now, before you guys go anywhere, before you start saying anything, I am, of course, going to be reviewing this. I've already placed my order. It'll be coming by Tuesday. And if you guys haven't watched my channel, or if you haven't been watching my show, I encourage you to also subscribe and turn notifications on. But one of the biggest things that I have kept thorough throughout my entire venue with Soundcore is I do not like the direction that the brand has headed in over the last few years. I don't like that Soundcore has taken a seat back in quality control, in terms of the audio performance, and one of the big things that I've talked about is really the sound quality, because I like to focus a lot on sound. Features and other things, yeah, they're cool, but what really makes an earbud stand out to me is the audio. And as you know, Sam, you know this, I have had the Liberty 3 Pros for over 4 years now. And how many times have I recommended Soundcore to you?
Every time.
Well, lately my tune has changed.
In the beginning, they were always a good brand, and we liked their devices based on the price point and the performance. And then in the last couple of iterations, you've said that you wish they would have done some things differently.
I would, yes. And to be fair, I don't think that they are a bad brand. They've never been a bad brand. But I do think that their priorities have gone in a direction that I don't feel has been audio first.
So tell me if you think this is a true statement. In order to accommodate certain things, they took shortcuts in other things, and that has kind of downgraded the hardware, downgraded the performance in a way.
Definitely the hardware, because the last generation model that they did, the Liberty 4, which was supposed to be a new kind of start to the launch of the market, the Liberty 4 was basically a slimmed down version of the Liberty 3 Pro, but the biggest cutback that they did was they took away the customization, they took away the true dual driver system that they had in favor of a sound system that in my opinion, it was just not the kind of quality that I thought it should be at. And
so the audio was downgraded because of that.
The audio was heavily downgraded. Now, I'm going to turn my screen off for just a second because I'm going to pull something up here real guys, and I want to actually highlight something. Now look, I have become an audio reviewer, and I've been getting products from companies, and I've fallen into that category of, people think that my videos are slowly becoming commercials. And I want to clarify to you guys that every video that I agree to do from a company, I make it known in the first email. If you are making me have to say what you want me to say, and it's not my opinion, I'm not doing the review. If I can't control my opinion, if I can't control my perspective and my thoughts, and you're going to make me read off what you want me to read, I'm not doing the review.
Well,
I'm
hold
being
on a second.
transparent
There's a
with my
difference
viewers.
between a commercial, an advertisement, and a review. That's two
Well,
different
there's a
things.
thing going on. Well, there's a thing going on right now in the tech world. Right now in the tech world, there is this renaissance. It's like, how do I say this? It's one of those things where, you know, like, people don't believe the integrity of reviews anymore.
Yeah.
And we've gotten to this point where there's so many people getting devices and things for free that they don't pay for it. Well, I'm one of the few YouTubers that can still say it to this day, and maybe it's because I'm still growing. I still pay for my headphones, I pay for my accessories, and if I get anything for free, I disclaim it within the first minute
But
of the
you know
video.
what you're paying
and
for, really, Technoid? You're paying for freedom, right? You can actually review it openly, honestly, objectively.
Exactly. You never ever do that. And for me, I always appreciate honesty and transparency. But I want to highlight something real quickly, and I want you guys to all look at these reviews. Now, these just came out a day ago, and these are all the YouTubers and this was another problem that I had. I don't know if you could see. Let me know if the screen is moving. If it's not moving,
Yeah.
because I'm moving. Okay. Okay. So the biggest problem with these reviews, specifically, the biggest problem is that a lot of these viewers, they are Soundcore fanatics to the core. They have been Soundcore fanatics since day one. Now, I've been on the bandwagon of Soundcore. However, I bought everything that I had. And I have had the privilege to work with Soundcore in the past. The problem with these reviews, and it's not the content creators. I want to clarify, it's not the content creators. They're just doing their job. The problem is, these are hyped up videos based on the immediate launch. And the thing that I always like to do, now I'm a little guilty of this, but what I like to do is I like to wait a couple of weeks, even a month. See, here was my video when I first covered the news. That was the very first thing anybody ever had. And then after that, we didn't hear a thing. So my video may not be a review, it was covering the story. But the point is, these reviewers, while I do credit their work and I appreciate their credit for everything that they've done, I really encourage viewers to please wait a few weeks, wait until they make a 1 month or 2 month later video to really take these reviews seriously, because this is another problem that Soundcore has also done. They rush to get all these people and just push these videos out as a marketing campaign. And to me, Game Sky, right there, it says it's sponsored by Soundcore. And the thing is that he is transparent. So I can honestly say you could trust his videos with every ounce of
When
passion
they
and
make their
dedication.
reviews, do they say that they paid for theirs, or, Soundcore sent them to them and said review them?
Well, they always disclaim it. But here's something that I've learned in my own personal bias. And I'm going to be a little transparent here. When a company sends you something for free, even though most people will say that they are going to be 100, they're not going to be, because they want to keep a good relationship with the brand to keep getting more free stuff. So that's why I always say in my videos, and if you guys are wanting proof, this is me being vulnerably open. I probably might lose a couple of brand deals here and there, but I'm being vulnerably open because I'm not afraid to speak up. And that's what's made me stand out from the rest. I am not afraid to say it like it is. As you used to say, call a spade a spade. But this isn't to trash any YouTuber. This is not to trash the company. But this is just to highlight why I don't watch reviews when I make my own videos. This is why I take my time with my reviews. This is why I take so much. It may cost me view numbers, but I don't care. At least it guarantees that I'm going to make the most consumer-friendly review that I can possibly make. And that's where I stand. So, like I said, I have my issues with Soundcore, but I really hope that this really evolves, and I hope that they finally get back on track, because the biggest thing they need to get back on track is the sound quality, quality control, and really listening to their fans. They shut down the community server. They shut down all their interaction with fans. So it's not the same Soundcore that we once knew. So that's something I want to put out.
So what I would ask is, why did they disconnect, terminate, discontinue the server or the soundboards or whatever, or the posting? Because those are connection channels, right? So, like, let's say that there's a product that's having an issue. you get direct connectivity with your consumer base. And then they give you feedback on the device, which allows you to modify and improve moving forward. They're going to help you make better
And
products.
yes, and that is something that I have respected Soundcore for the longest time. And then when they did that, I just was like, why? And listen, I'm not here to trash them again, but your biggest key to success is your consumers. Obviously, money talks louder than words, but it's those consumers that are buying them that need to be taken seriously. And listen, at the end of the day, I'm just a reviewer. I'm not an expert. I'm just a normal dude that likes headphones. And I even got this review coming out tomorrow. This is a spoiler. I got some open earbuds that were sent to me. I got a review coming tomorrow. And listen, you watch my video, you watch my opinion, you tell me what you think. And I'll let you guys be the judge of it. But at the end of the day, this is what I do. And this is what I love. But anyway, let's move on from
Bro,
this.
I can't wait for you to start reviewing like lavalier mics. I think that's next.
I think that is going to be next.
I think lavalier
think
mics
so.
and stuff like that is going to be your next foray, dude.
I think that is, and I'm open to that. If any company is saying,
Well, think
hey,
about
we'll
it. You're
send
doing
you-
headphones. The other thing is the recording devices, right? So, like, it's just going to be the progression.
That is true. So we'll see. Hey, listen, you guys, as long as you guys are following, I appreciate your support. But listen, we got a lot to talk, so we got to get into the next subject. The next subject is actually, we're going to go into Apple, because this is actually going to go in your territory. Apple is actually going to debut their 5G modem. And I want your thoughts. So we have a report that the iPhone SE4 is going to be Apple's first 5G modem. It will use the same camera as the iPhone 15. It will pack an A18 chip, and it is reportedly going to be coming, it seems, in the end of next year or in early next year. Again, reports are conflicting on this, but they're saying the spring in this article. I've seen several reports saying otherwise, but the one thing that I want to focus on is that 5G modem. Now, we know for the longest time that Apple has been trying to do everything in-house. We know that they have Qualcomm modems in the iPhones. We know all this. The game has changed. Apple has become a lot better. However, with that being said, there is still things we need to discuss, and that is, can we trust their 5G modem? And I'm going to just say where I stand on this, and I'm going to let you take the floor. I think this is a smart move to do it on the iPhone SE4. And the reason why I say it's a smart move is because it is the cheaper model. It's a very good way to test their modem strength, to test their low band, because I don't believe they're going to put mmWave on the SE. They didn't do it with the previous one. Maybe they do, but I think that this is a great way to start small, and then they can expand with the 5G modem for the Pro and the regular series. What are your thoughts?
I think you're right. I think that's how they're going to play it. I think they're putting it in the entry-level device, the most cost-conscious device. So if the price point is lower and it doesn't turn out great, let's say that it performs 80 to 85% of a Qualcomm modem, but they'll say, well, this phone is cheaper. So, it's not something to feel bad about. Say, well, I didn't get the latest and greatest modem technology or cellular or whatever, but you didn't pay a lot of money for the phone. So what do you think the SE4 is going to cost? Because that's the current iPhone generation is about $800, right? For the base flagship. The Pro is $1,000, right? What do you think the SE4 is going to come? You think it's going to be 500? You think it's going to be 600?
I think it's probably going to be around 5. Probably.
Okay, let's say it comes out 500. Let's say it's $500. Mm-hmm. That's $300 below the flagship cost. So having a 5G modem that's only 80 or 85% of the flagship modem, somebody would easily make that concession. They're not going to be mad about that. Like, it just has to be close enough to where it performs similar to. Just make it compete with that price range, right? So, because when people buy $500 Androids, they don't expect Galaxy S24 performance. They made that concession. They agreed to pay less. They agreed to lesser hardware. So I think this is smart by Apple. Introduce your modems, your gear into an entry-level device. And I think it buys them another year to produce something that's more flagship ready, more flagship performing. and get up to speed because they're chasing Qualcomm. They're not up to Qualcomm. We know that. Because if they were, they would have already done this 2-3 years ago. They bought the Intel 5G chip business, what, 3 years ago? 4 years ago? Or was it 2019?
Yeah, I think it was. I think it was around that time frame.
So like 5 years ago, and we haven't seen anything yet. So this would be the first generation Apple modem, and let's just see if it's good enough to get a second generation, to get a second iteration, and then maybe, just maybe, in a couple of years, we see it in the base model iPhone, the iPhone 17 or 18. And then the pros would probably get your Qualcomms, right? Like that makes sense too. But the bottom line is, Mike, is that it's going to start with the SE. The next SE will also get it. And I think the end game is to get it into the base model iPhone. And then maybe eventually, if they can really close the gap with Qualcomm, which I don't think they'll ever do, but if they ended up doing it, they'd eliminate Qualcomm completely and move towards their in-house stuff. But that's a steep mountain to climb. Qualcomm is way ahead of the rest of the industry. What up, Slang?
Absolutely. Shout out to Slang real quickly. And Slang, make sure you watch the first half of this video. I want your opinion on it later. Shout out to Max. It's been a long time seeing you, my friend. Good to have you on. Maximus. I am excited for the 4th gen iPhone SE. I need that custom Apple modem. Okay, so we got some potential. We got some hype. I am with you. I think that, again, this is a game plan that Apple has done very well. You know, a lot of people talk about Apple and they're like, oh, Apple just makes the same stuff. Well, they're very good at making people beta testers and they don't even realize they are. And this is one of those areas because they really do these things because they know this is a separate market that they can grab market share. They know that this has a lot of potential. They know that this has a lot to go. So I actually see this being, for me anyway, I see this being that game changer in the future. Not right now. I think the Qualcomm deal is still good. For me, I'm still on my 15 Pro Max. I did not upgrade again this year. I have decided to bypass the year upgrade. In 2-3 years from now, we'll have that talk. But for me, I love the performance. I think the 15 Pro Max has been a great phone, and that Qualcomm modem has definitely improved performance. And now that we're back on Verizon, that 5G Ultrawide band is hitting nice and strong. So I'm enjoying it, just saying. But there is another iPhone that is coming out next year that John Prosser, Front Pateur, reported on. And it is going to be, apparently, the iPhone Air. So if you guys don't know, and this is the so mark your calendars, everybody. On Monday, I am doing a full episode. I'm going to be talking about this particular iPhone, along with what we talked about with the SE and some other handful of news you probably didn't know. Again, make sure you subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications. But this new iPhone Air is supposedly going to be a brand new entry for the iPhone lineup. And this is reportedly going to be the slimmest. Now, this is a full picture here. This is a mock design. And again, John's images that he released were a lot quicker and better. So essentially, this is going to be, according to reports, this is going to be the thinnest iPhone they have ever made. This is going to be about the same iPhone that we have, but it's in a thinner format. Now, while I do like the concept of the thinner iPhone, calling it the iPhone Air, real quickly.
Bro, is this real life? Is this real life, bro?
Well, I'm about to say where I stand, but this is actually a really good comment here. Modem is going to be integrated on the SoC versus Qualcomm. It should be better. That is a fair point. So I actually didn't feel to see that. So that was a good point. I like that, and you definitely. But I think my issue with this, and I understand this is going to involve some very impressive technology. This is probably going to be a new segment for people that don't want the Pro models, but they want a premium iPhone. It is actually going to be priced out a little bit higher than the iPhone Pro Max. Now, I know there is an argument to be made that they're saying that this is going to also have, better thermal, better power efficiency. It is also saying that the Pro models are going to get an upgrade. But again, we're going to wait to cover iPhone 17 news. I refuse to cover the 17 news until we get 6 months to go, or at least 8 months to go. But the reason why I'm talking about this one is because I don't know if there is a demand for this. I'm not saying it isn't warranted, but I haven't seen people saying that they want a thinner iPhone. I've seen people say they want better battery in an iPhone. I've seen people say they want better camera technology in an iPhone. I've even seen people said that they want, a better design, like the metal housing or whatever. Because some people don't, like they don't like the titanium. Some people like stainless steel. But
Right.
I haven't heard anyone say they wanted a thinner iPhone.
But that's not a thing to buy. Like nobody said, I bought this phone. Forget the iPhone Air. Nobody ever said I bought this phone because it's the thinnest one I could find. Nobody ever said that. So for Apple to make a phone that is specifically targeting thinness, like I'm buying this phone or I want to sell this phone as a company because it's thin, it doesn't work that way.
There we
Like
go.
that's not a feature. I mean, if the phone happens to be thin, that might be like something cool, right? Like, oh, look what we did with the form factor. This phone is 20% thinner than the base model iPhone. Like that's just by chance in a way. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not nobody said I'm returning my phone because when I put it in my back pocket it was too thick. Like that just doesn't happen. So you can't say it's a feature. You can't say it's like how people like upgraded cameras or how people like upgraded display technologies, like you went from 1080p to 1440p. It's not an upgrade to be thinner because and actually, to be honest with you, if the phone is thinner, there's opportunities for it to have more failures, so it could backfire on them. We're going to pretend like the iPhone 6 Plus Bendgate didn't happen. What do you
Yeah.
think is going to happen here? Do you think Apple's going to decide that the materials they're going to use, which are going to cost more if they're going to design it thin, right? You could see it with the pricing. They're saying it's going to be more expensive because they have to build and design and engineer this phone to be stronger than the standard iPhone because it's going to lack the thickness. It's going to last the material. This is risky business. They're going to make it a more expensive phone that won't work as well.
Yeah, I'm with you. I actually am with you, and I think we'll continue talking about this. I think this will be the closer because I know you don't have much time, but I want to keep going on this topic. The other thing, too, is that, one of the things about the iPhone's design is that it's sturdy and built, but we have seen products that they've made that have not survived the bend test, and I actually want to highlight something here. Apple could add mmWave to the SE4 to test how well they can perform mmWave performance on the modems of the SE4, customers being beta testers. But there is actually something in there, despite it talking about the SE4, that mmWave antenna. That antenna, so it's very similar to the iPad Pro. Now, my iPad Pro has not bent or done anything over the last few years, but if you notice in these pins here, if you notice that antenna, like that magnetic point, if you get the cellular modems, they have mmWave in them. Mm-hmm. That is
The
actually
old
a
one
fracture.
does, not the new
old
one.
Okay, the old one does.
Yeah.
That was a fracture point for a thin device. If you
Sure.
bend this thing right now, it is going to break right where the antenna is. And I think the problem with making a thin device that small, making it that tiny, the problem is you are now going to put people that are spending up to $1,400 for an iPhone, and if it bends that easily, now again, they could probably use the titanium, they could probably use a durable material.
And what happens to the cost?
But there you go again, the cost goes up. I think the cost is already going to be going up because of the screened technology. So I think already the price is going to be.
Is the price premium enough already? You think they're going to squeeze the customer for more?
I would hope not. I would hope that they don't. I pray that they don't. But, knowing Apple and their business practice, they are going to try to milk this thing.
Yeah.
But, before we wrap it, I know this is a very quick show, guys. This was just my return real quickly before we wrap this thing up. The last thing I want to bring up real quickly, Sneed, for you is the cellular technology of this Apple 5G modem, because I want to focus a little bit in your territory. So if, let's say, hypothetically, let's say that Apple gets this going, let's say that, they get this ball rolling. Let's say they finally debut it. What are some particular bandwidths that you think should be important to look out for in determining the performance of how the modem's going to perform?
I think the only place where Apple could take the shortcut would be not including millimeter wave. That's probably what they could avoid. And I think the reason why they would avoid that is because for the sake of simplicity of the engineering and then the performance, right? And it's just one additional thing that they'd have to worry themselves with, designing an antenna array and then just the performance of the modem. I think the other piece to this is the carrier aggregation combinations. So like how many channels can they combine together for the aggregated connection for 5G? So for example, like the Samsung Galaxy S24, I think currently the most any carrier is using is 4 channels of 5G NR, right? So that's basically 4 different frequencies, or sometimes they're the same frequency, right? So like T-Mobile, 2 channels of N41, a channel of N25, a channel of N71, 4 carrier aggregation, right? That iPhone is going to have to do at least that much, because that is what, T-Mobile at least is currently configured for. Qualcomm's going to be doing 5 carrier aggregation when these carriers are ready, right? So when Apple moves, or when T-Mobile's ready to do 5 carrier aggregation, the Samsungs of the world, I think the Motorola flagship will probably have the newest chipset too. They'll be doing 5 CA, 5 carrier aggregation. If the iPhone can't produce that performance, it's a lesser product by a long shot. Like, let's say it only has 3 carrier aggregation. It can't even maximize the throughput on the T-Mobile network. It might maximize like Verizon, because they'll use like a 3 carrier aggregation, 2 N77s, and then like an N5 or something like that, or whatever, or an N2 or an N66. You get what I'm saying? So like if you're 2 or 3 years behind your competitor, it's like your experience is going to be neutered. They can't be that far back. The most they could be back is 1 generation of Qualcomm. They can never be That's 2 or 3 generations back, because then what's the point? You might as well use last year's Qualcomm. You'll be further ahead than your own in-house stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that is true. The other thing that I think would help out is the whole satellite, the whole, that thing that they've been doing. And I gotta tell you, that actually has been some impressive technology. When Apple innovates in those areas, people don't really recognize it. That antenna in those
pretty good. It's
SOS,
pretty reliable from what we could tell, man. People have been using it.
Is the partnership with Starlink still going up, or is this Apple's own?
Apple is partnered with Globalstar.
Got it.
Yeah, Google Android, I think, is partnered with Skylo. And then T-Mobile is partnering with SpaceX and Starlink. Verizon and AT&T are partnering with AST Space Mobile. So they all have different solutions and partners, and they're all different.
At the end of the day, I guess it's just the reliability that counts. Because you could partner with many different antennas companies to give you different technology, but if it's reliable, that's all that matters. And I think
and so far it's been Apple.
It's been that's the key. It's like the carriers haven't been able to do it, so now all of a sudden Apple just
the carriers are just now getting involved, right? Like Apple has been working at this for a few years, so they've got some fruit to show,
That's true. Well, this is the last thing I'll say, and then we'll wrap up the show. I think the last thing I would say is that as fun, as interesting as the hardware is, it's really the internal technology that I think is really the standout. Because a lot of people focus on the features and all these different areas. But when we talk for you, the things that excite you is that cellular technology, is that area. For a guy like me, for audio, it's not the noise canceling transparent, it's the drivers, the audio system inside, the Bluetooth chipset. So I think that is where our similarities lie. Where I think the bridge between both of these ideas in the tech world get lost is that the general consumer doesn't understand enough of it. And I think it's important for guys like me and you to focus on these areas, because without guys like us, we're leaving a broad vast of people that don't know anything in the dark.
But you know what they do know? All customers know this. And that's performance. They'll use it and say, this is good or this is not good. They draw that conclusion, and then word of mouth spreads. They tell their friends, they share their experiences. Hey, I bought this, I tried this, I used this feature. Good, not good. They let their voices be heard. And they speak with their wallets too, right? If it's not good, they're not going to pay for it.
Absolutely. You're right. And I'll tell you one thing, you've done a lot of testing in those cellular tests. And if there's anybody I'm going to when it comes to reliability in cellular news, it's you. So you know that I got you covered.
Salute.
But alrighty, I think we are past the 30-minute mark. I think we're going to wrap this show up. But anyway, guys, before we wrap it up, it is great to be back. It is great to be interacting with all of you. I promise we will do longer shows. We will have more shows coming out. Again, guys, I want to thank Sneed for being a part of tonight's episode. And obviously, he's my co-host. He will always be available and always welcome back on my channel. I got to get back on a show of yours, but I think your cellular fans are probably going to eat me alive if I go on that show.
No, they love you, Doug.
Hey, listen, it's good to be back. It's good to have all of you guys. For those watching on Sneed's channel, thank you for watching. Please consider subscribing to my channel and stay tuned, because the Technoid show is coming back in its full blossom. We got audio reviews coming, Tesla accessory videos coming. We got a lot of reviews coming, and we have a lot to talk about. So only time will tell how we go from here. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a great night and stay tuned, because Halloween is around the corner. And